Thank you for joining us today as we provide information about Shoreline's Proposition 1 and answer your questions. As city staff, we will not speak in favor of or against the measure, as it is up to Shoreline voters to determine if they are in favor or opposed to the measure. In 2017, after 18 months of public process, the City Council approved the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space, or PROS, plan, which sets a trajectory for parks, recreation, and cultural programming for the City of Shoreline for the next 20 years. The PROS plan includes 11 strategic action initiatives, and included in these initiatives are various park improvements to expand and enhance outdoor recreation opportunities for the community. Proposition 1 addresses several of these action initiatives. Between 2017 and 2019, beginning with PROS plan outreach, the public shared their input in the design of park improvements. This outreach included the use of surveys, focus groups, dot exercises, stakeholder meetings, open houses, online comment forms, social media, resident committees, and the Parks Board. The park improvements reflect the public's comments over this 3-year period. Starting in September 2018, a resident committee spent 7 months studying various options and making a recommendation on funding for park improvements. And in 2020, the Park Board made a recommendation to the City Council to place a park improvement and parkland acquisition ballot measure before the Shoreline voters. After several discussions by the City Council ultimately voted on January 25th, 2021 to approve placing Proposition 1 to fund park improvements and parkland acquisitions on the April 27th, 2021 special election ballot. If approved by Shoreline voters, Proposition 1 authorizes improvements to 8 parks and the acquisition and improvement of new park land. The 5 parks selected for significant improvements represent geographic equity, are in neighborhoods that need gathering places, and they did not receive funding in the 2006 Park Bond measure. The 5 parks selected for significant improvements are Brugger's Bog, Hillwood, Richmond Highlands, Briarcrest, which is part of Hamlin East, and James Keogh Park. Funding from Proposition 1 would create Briarcrest Community Park out of the east arm of Hamlin Park. Improvements will include a new play area, splash pad, and picnic shelter to provide gathering space for the neighborhood and also serve the wider community. The playground at Brugger's Bog Park is currently underwater several months out of the year. These park improvements would relocate the playground to a drier area of the park and install additional features such as a multi-sports court, picnic shelter, and park restroom. Improvements to Hillwood Park include a splash pad, an expanded play area, a new picnic shelter, and a perimeter trail. A new off-leash dog area will be built at James Keogh Park, along with a new perimeter trail, picnic shelter, and park restroom. The existing play equipment will be replaced with a new play area. The Richmond Highlands Recreation Center is home to Shoreline's specialized recreation programs. Adding accessible amenities in this location will provide the possibility to expand programming for people with unique physical and mental challenges. While all Shoreline Park playgrounds meet the Americans with Disabilities Act requirements, this playground will be designed with enhanced accessibility features that provide a place for people of all ages and abilities to enjoy a day in the park. If approved by voters, Proposition 1 will also fund additional investments in 3 other parks. Those are Krukeberg Botanic Garden, Ridgecrest Park, and Shoreview Park. At Krukeberg Botanic Garden, we will make the Education Center and Children's Garden accessible to people of all abilities. At Ridgecrest Park, we will construct a new off-leash dog area and play area. At Shoreview Park, we will upgrade the off-leash dog area and convert the dirt soccer field to grass. Approval of Proposition 1 will also allow the city to invest in public art throughout the city in accordance with the city's public art plan. Proposition 1 will also allow the city to purchase new park land and make baseline improvements upon that land. Parkland acquisitions and improvements will expand Paramount Open Space, Brugger's Bog, and Rotary Park, and will include additional parkland acquisitions in the light rail station areas and other parts of the city. For Proposition 1 to pass, it must meet two critical thresholds. First, it must receive a minimum 60% yes vote, and secondly, there must be a minimum voter turnout of 40% of the voters who cast ballots in the last general election within the city. You can see here how many votes the proposition needs for an April special election validation. There were 40,569 active registered voters for the November 2020 general election. Of those, 35,231 voted. 40% of those voters, or 14,092, would need to vote in the April special election in order to reach the validation requirement. And of those voting, 60% must vote yes in order to approve the bond measure. Current estimates show the cost of the park improvements are $38.5 million. If voters approve Proposition 1, the city will issue general obligation bonds with a length of 20 years. The debt service on those bonds will be paid with an increase in property taxes over the next 20 years. The owner of a median valued home, which was $517,000 in 2020, would expect to pay approximately $112 a year or $9 a month in property tax for the park bond. This represents a $36 a year or $3 a month increase over what property owners are currently paying on the 2006 park bond. The 2006 park bond will be fully repaid in 2021. State law allows for certain exemptions and deferrals for this type of excess property tax levy to senior citizens, disabled persons, and disabled veterans meeting certain income thresholds and other criteria. To find out more about the deferrals and exemptions available, you can visit the King County Assessor's website. If you would like more information about Proposition 1, you may go to shorelinewa.gov/Prop1, and additional information is provided on the city's website. Thank you for your time today.